Alright, welcome back everybody. This is like the 5th time I've tried to record this intro. I've dealt with technical difficulties. My wife needed to ask me something, and we're not going to stop for anything this time. We're going to get her done. So, today's topic is the tier of dog bites. Now, I did a tier video before where I kind of came up with my own categories of the levels of dog nuttery, but this one is a little different. So stick around here as I dive into this. I'm glad you're here, and we're gonna do some damage on the narratives that all of our dog nutters love to push. So I want to smash the idea that dogs aren't violent and that they belong in the home. No matter what the reason that a dog had to bite somebody, it is never okay for an animal, especially a mutant, to attack a human in the human's own home. If you go into an animal's natural territory and you get attacked, that's your fault. It's not that, I can go into an animal's territory, I can go into a lion's territory and do whatever I want, and if the lion attacks me, I was in the right to kill it. No, it's not your territory. We got a reverse of what's going on with that. The home is our territory. So there is no excuse for a dog or any animal to attack a human in their own home. We're also going to look at a dog nut expert's own analysis of dog bites. And I think if you stay with us, you'll quickly find that this expert analysis narrative doesn't hold up to scrutiny at all. So, everyone here that is here to hear the message, we all know dogs don't belong in the home. If dogs were compatible with living in the human home, they wouldn't have bacteria, parasites, and viruses that are foreign and deadly to humans. They wouldn't act like scared, stressed out, mentally deranged little beasts around us, since according to the dog nuts, they evolved with us. They should be doing all sorts of stuff that humans do if they evolved side by side with us. They also wouldn't need to constantly be supervised around children and everywhere else, and be incapable of doing simple tasks like leaving their waste in non-discrete areas like humans or even cats do. In the wild, animals that are intelligent cover up their waste to avoid being detected not only by other predators, but by prey that they wish to capture. However, the biggest indicator that dogs do not belong in the home is the fact that they attack at the rate that they do. This is the topic we are going to focus on. We're going to use this as the edge of the blade today. Dogs attack so much. There is an official scale that is used to gauge the severity of dog bites. And it can help determine what the fate of the dog will be after, if and when it is captured, the 10-day waiting period that they standardize after the attacks, etc., etc. And, while you're here for your viewing pleasure, of course, we have the 2005 to 2016 dog bite fatality chart. And 64.8% of those deaths were by the most misunderstood breed of them all. So, there's no scale for any other pet. Now keep in mind, out of all the pets that people own, the measures that we take to keep dogs in the home are ridiculous in comparison to all other animals. And nothing else even comes close. There's no level 6 cat bite. There aren't scales for the attacks that come from fish that are in a fish tank. They don't have rabbit catchers that come to your home with special equipment to capture and detain dangerous rabbits. They don't have to have cat callings or rabbit callings in other countries where cats are feral or living around the surrounding areas of human territory. And cats are carnivores. Naturally, they are carnivorous animals, and they don't attack us like dogs do. We waste so much time and money and energy on dogs because dogs roam areas off leash to find someone to attack. They get into the garbage, they spread diseases, they do all these things, these nuisance activities. They do these things more than all the other creatures put together, to the point where we have designated teams of people trained to capture them, to deal with them. There's no other pet that gets shot by the cops when it runs at them. If a police officer's in the street and a cat comes running up on him, he's not going to pull out his gun and blast it. Oh, I feared for my life. I mean, you could look for it and you're not going to find it. There's no other animal that requires this much pain and sweat and tears and blood just to have them in human territory. Not a single other one. Now, the scale that I'm pulling from comes from Dr. Sophia Yin. She is a DVM and an MS. This is a person who the dog nuts would listen to. When she opens her mouth and says whatever it was that she wants to say about mutts, they eat it right up. They believe every word of it. They go around repeating it and changing their behavior off of it. This person did this for a living. And this person spent a large portion of their life studying behavior of animals, dogs. And this is what they came up with. So with that in mind, unlike that other video that I did, I'm not making this up or doing this of my own accord the way I did with the scaling of dog nut behavior, the dog nut video. If any of you dog nuts are listening, just know this comes from your own experts. These explanations are word for word from this dog nut's own descriptions. So let's dive into this dog bite scale 1 through 6. Now, level 1 dog bite they call pre-biting. Real quick, just so I don't forget, I want to start off by saying that all of these pictures that you'll be seeing are the real deal from the chart that was illustrated for Sophia Yin by her illustrator Lily Chin. I hope I am pronouncing those correctly. These are all pictures that they use, and if you look at these pictures, never is the dog depicted as angry, vicious, or soulless, or evil, but instead he's confused. He's anxiety-ridden and fearful. You know, he doesn't. You know, you're sticking your hand out to him and it's making him nervous, and he's gonna clamp down to, I want to let you know I'm anxious. Please stop. Your behavior is irritating me. More deception by the nutters. So pre-biting or snapping, this is their description. When I start the quotes, it will have the parentheses. Pre-biting or snapping, air bite with no contact. Get help before it progresses to an actual bite. Do not punish these warning signs, or the dog may progress to biting without warning. Instead, learn the signs of fear and anxiety that the dog may show prior to this situation and the common human actions that may contribute. So very first off, they're saying that the dog may act like it's going to bite you without actually doing it. It's threatening you. But do not punish it for threatening you. It's something that you did, and as such, you're supposed to get a lecture from a dog nut trainer on what you are doing to make the dog mad. You're contributing to its fear and anxiety with your actions of, doing laundry, coughing, sitting up too fast, standing in your front yard, handing something to someone else, or allowing your baby to be in the same room as you. Those are all reasonable reasons in the mutt's mind of, you deserve to be attacked or warned or threatened for that. I'm going to threaten you for doing laundry. That's just unacceptable. Level 2 is near bite. Now, just to clarify real quick here before I read the description, according to the ASPCA, bite inhibition refers to a dog's ability to control the force of his mouthing. Oh, let's change that. Biting. A puppy or dog who hasn't learned bite inhibition with people doesn't recognize the sensitivity of human skin, and so he bites too hard even in play. They got to let you know that, the dog might not know any better and he didn't mean to. So a near bite, level 2, is tooth contact on the skin but no puncture. This near bite is concerning even though it is inhibited. So the dog didn't go full blast on you and has not yet broken the skin. Ask yourself what earlier signs, fear and anxiety you may have missed earlier. So here we go again. The dog threatened you in your own house, provided that it's your dog, which in most cases the attack comes from the family dog. More than likely, it threatened you for behavior that is normal for humans to exhibit. And you need to look at what you did to make the dog mad. The dog was justified. You were in the wrong, as always. How could you be so stupid to not be able to read the mutt's mind and know that sneezing would make it angry enough to attack you? How could you not know that, idiot? And then you got the picture, oh, poor dog, he doesn't want you to mess with him. So you're going to reach down like an idiot and let him sniff the back of your hand just like the dog nut experts told you to. And he bites you to let you know to stay away from me. Like here we go again, innocent poor doggy. And it's going to be a recurring theme in all of these pictures. And if you think this is ridiculous, just wait. The pictures, just wait. Level 3A. Skin punctures, single bite. All punctures shallower than the length of canine tooth. Even though the bite may not be severe, it is still reportable. Reporting is mandatory if the victim is treated in a hospital. Once your dog is actually bitten at this level or higher, he or she will always be considered a liability, even if with behavior modification, he or she is 99.9% improved. So here we go again. You went up like an idiot to the dog to let it sniff your hand. It gave you a good one. It broke the skin. And it was a single bite. Right away, this bite level where the mutt, it actually went ahead and bit you. Right away, the description. Even though the bite may not be severe, blah, 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 blah. So first of all, when a dog bites through your skin, bacteria from the dog's mouth gets into your body. Now, you could probably kill the bacteria if you do something about it immediately, like immediately washing the wound, using antibiotics, etc. But the fact that a mutant, really any animal that has deadly bacteria that are not native to your body, has just injected those bacteria into your body is a big deal. It isn't something that you could walk off, that you could shrug off. It would be better if you had a cut and you rubbed your own feces into the cut. Even though you would for sure get an infection from that, and that sounds disgusting, it would be from bacteria that are native to your own body. Your immune system would be able to handle them a lot better than they'd be able to handle Ctenocytophaga or Coxella or any of these other awful diseases that live in a dog's mouth. And that infection from your own bacteria would not likely cause a massive, life-threatening, spiral out of control infection to take place. So level 3B here, it's getting into, they're breaking down 3 into A and B. Skin punctures with multiple bites. All punctures shallower than the length of the canine tooth. Multiple bites generally means the dog is in a higher arousal state. The dog is reacting, excuse me, without thinking in between bites. So here we go again. These dog nuts are clarifying for the dog what it had intent to do. It's reacting without thinking. Is another way of saying it's not the dog's fault, even though it tried to kill you. If you'll stop with me for a minute here, okay? Think about it. What detailed criteria for something that shouldn't even ever be taking place. They're breaking this down into all these stupid technicalities of 3A and 3B, and the dog, the less than the length of the canine tooth. Like, there shouldn't be a dog bite scale. When I found this out, I was like, oh, perfect video idea. This is one to, hit out of the park. It couldn't be any easier to make a critical video, a video critical of something so stupid. There should be one level. The dog bit someone because it was sniffing around outside of someone's house and they were stupid enough to try pet it, and then it gets shot on sight. There should be no dogs in your home, period. And we shouldn't have to be worrying about what level the frickin' dog bite was. Getting attacked is getting attacked, and it's never okay. So now here we go, level 4. Very serious. Oh. Now here, the dog sees you, he's got a smile on his face, chomps down on your frickin' leg. Single bite with punctures deeper than the length of the canine. So the dog bit and then it clamped down, it wouldn't let go. Or with slashes in both directions from puncture. The dog bit and then shook, kind of like the pit bulls do. This is a much harder bite than a level 3 bite. It's no longer inhibited. Therefore, it represents a much higher liability. This level of bite can kill a child. Now, immediately, my critique of that statement is, why couldn't a level 3B or 3A bite kill a child? You're telling me if a dog bite the length of a canine tooth into a baby's neck, that unless it was technically classified as a level 4 bite, that it couldn't kill a child? And furthermore, you just admitted that a dog is capable of killing a child. You just admitted that this is something a dog can and will do, and the fact that you would bring something into the home that could possibly present this threat to you or your child is criminal. It's insane and absolutely wrong on so many levels. I can't even fathom what would cause you to do something so insane. Like, you just told on yourself. The fact that the conversation doesn't end right here is absolutely beyond me. When they say the bite was no longer inhibited, up here, this is a harder bite than level 3, it's no longer inhibited. They mean that the dog gave it everything that it had. It chomped down with every ounce of strength it had to end your life. Level 5, it went from one bite with deeper than blah blah blah, to level 5, which is multiple bite attack with deep punctures, or multiple attack incident. Note that word, attack. Dogs that bite at this level have generally had practice biting at level 3 and 4 already. Some dogs, here we go again, some dogs are so fearful that a scary even triggers such a, how did they word that? Fearful that a scary event triggers such a high arousal state that they get stuck in a reactive mode and continue to bite. Some dogs so fearful that they get blah blah blah. Right away they word this one different though. Now it's an attack. None of the other bites were described as an attack, even though they all were. So again, dog nuts. First off, massive assumptions. Second off, excuses. A person who has had to endure an attack from a mutt and has had multiple bites has been tortured. Their skin and their muscle and tissue has been ripped from their bones, and they're never going to be the same. And for what? A worthless scavenger that couldn't help it? A mutated creature that isn't capable with living peacefully in human territory? And a majority of these dog nuts, as we've even seen recently with that girl Brooklyn Curry, even after being viciously attacked, will 100% say, yes, it was worth it, and they still love frickin' dogs. Now, the only step beyond this is death. Victim killed or flesh consumed. And before I continue with the quoted lines from the explanation that they gave, know that they 100% tell on themselves once more. And really, they make the argument for us that dogs don't belong in the home. So they go on. It's important to realize that even little dogs and puppies can kill infants and small children. And that right there should be where the conversation ends. But of course, they can't question the presence of dogs, so they go on. And that death may be due to an overly aroused play rather than viciousness or fear. It might be due to an overly aroused play. He might have just been playing rather than being vicious. It's best to seek qualified help before the dog even reaches a level 2 bite. Well, what if, you adopt a mutt from a shelter and you don't get any warning? What if, like so many people, the mutt just snaps and kills your baby, and then you could say, we never thought this could happen? The entirety of what they have said is all just maybes, cans, sometimes, possiblies, all this guesswork. And anyone with half a brain would be able to tell this is all just a bunch of mumbo jumbo. A way to give a dog owner who is questioning the presence of dogs the runaround, and a way to supposedly measure the level of aggression of a mutt's behavior. Bottom line, they don't belong in the home. And you'll notice in the picture down here, even in the event the dog has killed someone, they're not going to draw it to be big and bad. Look at, I'll see if I can zoom in on this. He's resting on the owner's grave, Here he bit somebody, here he bit somebody. And this one, he killed him, and he's sadly laying on the grave, and he's mourning the loss of the person that he killed and ate. All right, come on. So, even in the event the dog's killed someone, they're not going to draw it to be big and bad. They're not going to depict dogs as anything other than sad, scared little angels. They're not going to draw it to be big and bad. It's resting on the owner's grave with a sad face. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Well, here's something else to take away, okay? Pull a little bit off topic of this. That was certainly a mouthful. But I got something else to say. I'm certainly not one to comment on the plight of other people's mental health. I have ADHD. I have struggled with anxiety during rough patches of my life. I was borderline suicidal during my teenage years when I was abused by my dad and my stepmom. Mostly my stepmom, and my dad just let it happen. Everyone has their demons. Everyone has their own story and things that they themselves had to go through. And I'm not here to remark on the status of the mental health system in the United States or any other country for that matter. However, during my time when I was going through all the crap that I went through, never once did I wish to pet a stinking, slobbering, disease-covered mutant with a mouthful of sharp teeth. That never crossed my mind. Man, I sure wish I had a mutant that I could rub on. I don't believe that, excuse me, I don't believe that they can actually help people grow mentally, achieve any kind of growth, or do anything other than be used as a crutch. And part of what helped me reach that conclusion, besides all the stuff that I've seen, is that the person who wrote all that stuff that I just read you about dogs spent their whole life studying and writing about dogs. They dedicated their life to dogs. That person killed themselves. If dogs can really help take away mental illnesses and promote mental wellness like these dog nuts say they can, this person who was completely immersed in dogs and even other animals, she killed herself by hanging at the age of only 48 years old. Now, whether you agree with me on all that is up to you, but it's just something to think about. So to sum up, okay, we're almost done. The dog nuts make these arguments for us. They elaborate the fact that dogs are dangerous, that they can bite and kill not only young and defenseless humans, but grown adults. Any dog in any home presents a hazard to the human inhabitants of the dwelling, because not only does the dog have diseases and bacteria that can kill you, parasites that can infect the human body. Even if the dog decides not to attack you, it has all those things. But the number one reason is that the dog also has a mind of its own and a set of teeth which it is free to use as it pleases. Unlike any gun which has to be loaded, cocked, aimed, and fired, or a knife which has to be gripped and thrusted or swung, a dog has a dysfunctional brain, a pound-for-pound powerful body, and the tools that it needs to kill. It does not belong in the human home under any circumstances. And if you disagree with me after learning about the dangers that dogs present, you are endangering not only your own life, like you've got the right to endanger your own life, but you're also endangering your children's life, you're endangering my life, and you're endangering the life of your community. And for that you should be justly punished, or at the very least shunned by the rest of the mentally sane world. These dog nuts, it's hard because we can't tell other people what to do. And we can't convince people to change their entire life just based on facts and figures and numbers and pictures. And because of that fact, for the time being, it is up to you to provide for your own safety. I just finished recording my video footage for the video, How to Defend Yourself from Dogs. So that will be, I've got some free time in the next 2 days. I have Monday and Tuesday off, and I'm hoping to get some of that done. But I just want to let you know, you got to provide for your own safety. You got to take care of your own personal well-being, because the dog nuts are so accepting of the fact that dogs attack people that they've come up with these cute little drawings and scales, and well, if your dog bites you, you really should get help. Well, what if the dog bites you and now your limbs look like this? Oh, well, they got nothing to say. So as always, remember that it is your job to provide for your own safety and the safety of your children, if you have them. And I encourage you to love the sinner and hate the worthless dog.